Right, first question. This Sunday, the Chicago Bears are going in to Cleveland to take on the Browns. What's it going to be like to come back to Northeast Ohio and play football?
Yeah, man, it's going to be a dream come true for sure. I grew up obviously in Northeast Ohio, Norton, and I think growing up, I watched the Browns. Browns was somebody who my parents we listened to on the way home from church. On the radio. Watched them as soon as I got home. So I was there through kind of all the turmoil and all the quarterbacks and things of that nature. So I was there for it all. And then to finally kind of reach this stage, and then be able to come back home and play against a team that I watched growing up, and to do it in front of all my friends and family. It's surreal, man. Especially be able to come and play in front of people that some family members and people that haven't got to see you play live. But now be able to do that on a professional level, I get goosebumps thinking about it. My hands, getting sweaty.
Yeah.
But no, man, I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. If you're going to have friends and family at the game this Sunday, that's awesome that they're going to get some of the ones who haven't been able to see you going to get to come see you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I got a lot of people, that reached out and said they were coming to the game. A lot of old friends from high school and just from the area. So I know a lot of people are excited about it. I'm just as excited as everyone else. So
yeah,
it should be fun. It should be fun for sure.
Yeah, I even had a few teachers tell me that they were going to go see the game this week to see you. So it'll definitely be fun.
What teachers? You got it. What teachers?
Mr. Pacifico said he was going to show up.
For sure.
So yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to start off with your high school career. What are some of your favorite memories growing up in Norton and then playing football at Norton?
There's a lot. There's a lot. From Pee Wee, when I first moved to Norton, going from Pee Wee, with all my friends, we were really good at youth football. We had a season where we went unscored on and undefeated. Didn't allow a single touchdown. That was my A squad year. We went on that year to go to the Midwest tournament, face this team from Wisconsin in the championship up in Cleveland. Ended up winning the Midwest tournament with a triple overtime. Never forget that game.
Wow.
I think I had a concussion that game. That was such an intense game. Just being able to go there. I think we went back to back actually, Midwest tournament champions.
Yeah.
To do that, and just remembering my friends and just a lot of those guys that at that time, and the connections and bonds that I built with my friends and coaches. All the way through middle school. We were good at middle school. I think we lost one game in middle school.
Wow.
One game in middle school.
Yeah.
I think it was a cloverleaf. I'll never forget. I broke my wrist that game. It was at cloverleaf.
Okay.
That still hurts to this day. But I loved it. I had Coach Ross, Coach Boffman at the time in high school or in middle school who were our coaches, and I loved every second of it. And then moving on to high school. Start off with Coach Tanksley, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
He was real good to me. Love Coach Tanksley, and just like I said, just the relationships I built with all those guys, and then moving on to Coach Pollock, who was there, who was great, and then Scott Pollock, his dad, who meant the world to me. I love Scott Pollock, and he actually came to one of my games in Tampa.
Oh, that's awesome.
They came to my game in Tampa. When we went down to Tampa to face the Bucks, they were there. So the first time I had seen him since my senior night.
Oh wow!
So that was such a cool moment to be able to see them. But I loved it. I remember one particular play that probably stands out. We did win a championship. I would say my junior year we did. We won the championship, league championship.
Yeah.
At the time, PTC championship.
Yeah.
I know it's a new conference now. I forget what is it called now?
The MAC.
MAC, yeah.
Yeah.
We were the PTC at the time
when
I was there. But my favorite moment, man, it's got to do. Shout out to Michael Green. Graduated a year after me. It was my senior night. We were playing Field High School, and all year he was talking about, man, I want to score, man, I want to get the end zone, I want to score, and it was my senior night. Field kicked the ball off. I don't remember what quarter it was. Kind of I think later in the game. They kicked the ball off, and he ended up getting it. And so he picks up the ball and he takes off. And I'm maybe about 10, 15 yards behind him, kind of watching from behind. And I see him take off. I see a huge gap open, and he's gone.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm kind of watching this trot from behind, and I could see that there was a kid on the field who kind of had an angle to come catch him. And so at that point, I'm like, oh, no, you're not going to mess this moment up for my guy. So I took off on a dead sprint, caught up to Michael and the kid, ended up blocking him, and Michael ended up getting into the end zone. So that was probably definitely my most favorable moment through all my high school career.
Yeah.
Playing at Norton.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was actually watching some of your huddle highlights from high school, and I actually do remember watching that, where you sprinted behind it. Yeah, that was awesome. I remember as a kid, I would always hear Tyler Scott the ball carrier, and I knew when I heard you committed to Cincinnati that I remember that guy. He's Tyler Scott the ball carrier from Norton. So coming out of high school, you received many offers from colleges. What made you pick the Cincinnati Bearcats?
Man, so I mean, I know going to different colleges, visiting different places. You're looking for just authenticity from coaches. You're looking for the right environment. Things of that nature. A place where you feel that each person has their own kind of things that they look for and that they chase after. But for me, I want to be in a place where I feel like I can grow as a man and as a football player. And I feel like at Cincinnati, the first thing that kind of I noticed, I went to one of the spring practices, and man, I'm like, man, they are competitive. Like, you could just tell they were a team on the rise, just the way they competed, the way they practiced. At the time, Luke Fickle, who was the head coach at the time, he just had that whole place. You could just feel it. And going to different places, going to different Big Ten schools and ACC schools, and just kind of going around and kind of seeing different programs. I'm like, man, I'm not feeling the energy. I'm not feeling the passion, the drive that I feel at Cincinnati. And so, like I said, I can just kind of feel it. And I get there. Well, I didn't get there until 2020, but 2019, they ended up losing in their conference championship. To Memphis, who had a lot of great players on that team. But they came back the next year when I got there. We ended up being ranked like 7th in the nation. Ended up facing Georgia in the Peach Bowl my freshman year, who was obviously a great team. We ended up losing on a walk-off field goal. We had them up, about like 21, at halftime. Ended up losing on a walk-off field goal. Peach Bowl record was 51 yards, and they ended up winning that game. But, what I'm saying, we felt like, we were that team. And then the following year, we ended up, going into the college football playoffs, being the only Group of 5 team ever to make it.
Yeah.
We ended up facing Alabama, being a top 4 team, and we went through that. So that's just something that I kind of felt and seen from kind of my first visit there, and just the people, the people that recruited me. Shout out to Coach Brown, who's now the receivers coach at Notre Dame, and Coach Phillips. He's the head coach now with Youngstown State. Luke Fickle, who was at the time the head coach, now the head coach of Wisconsin. And it was just so many different guys on that staff that I loved, man. And then also my brother, Trey Tucker. He went to CVC High School, kind of about 20 minutes away from Norton. He went to CVC High School, and that was my guy. We grew up together. And, I wouldn't say necessarily had a huge effect on me going to Cincinnati, but it definitely, it was some added bonus points for sure to go play with him, knowing that we grew up together. But, Cincinnati was just pretty much just different than any other place I had came across.
Yeah, and that's got to feel cool with next year the college football playoff expanding to 12 teams. Cincinnati is going to be the only non-Power 5 school to ever make the college football playoff in the 4 team, and you being a part of that team.
Man. Yeah, being a part of that history, having a hand in the stirring pot, it's going to be something special.
Yeah. And then when you declared for the draft after last season, what was going through your mind? Like, after the season, what made you say, I'm going to declare for the draft?
Man, it was a lot of different things, because at the time I got hurt right after my breakout game, really. We faced Indiana. I think it was week 3 or 4. We faced Indiana, actually a team, Indiana, who that was my top 2, Cincinnati and Indiana.
Okay.
Who I was kind of deciding to go to. And I went off first time, had 3 touchdowns in the first half, like 185 yards, 10 catches.
Yeah.
Also 5 drops, though. But you're going to add that in there. But no, that was kind of my breakout game, and I kind of really, when I hit the map, and a lot of scouts and agents started hitting me up and started noticing, like, man, this kid, he's got some talent, and has the possibility to be able to possibly go to the next level. I had a couple good weeks before, and then just kind of carry that out. But the following game, I ended up getting hurt. I ended up tearing my right ankle.
Okay.
Like kind of midway through the game, and I remember sitting on the field. I'm like, man, why does that have to happen? I was like, man, this is, was having a good year. I was like, man, I was, possibly hoping to maybe, be able to, go into the next level. But I'm like, man, I don't know now, with this injury. And so I was out for, I want to say, about 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks including the bye week. Ended up coming back, still played well enough to, still receive a lot of recognition from, a lot of different NFL teams that were asking about me anytime they came to Cincinnati, seeing what I was doing. Still, like I said, a lot of agents hit me up, seeing what I wanted to do. And so that was just a good sign. I'm like, all right, so, your name's swirling around, at the NFL level. And so, end of the season came, we ended up losing to Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that game was to get to the conference championship. We wanted to three-peat. We went back-to-back. We wanted to three-peat, but wasn't able to get it. I remember after that, our head coach ended up leaving at the time, Luke Fickle.
Mm-hmm.
He left maybe a day or two after that game, I want to say, and he ended up getting the head coaching job at Wisconsin. And at that time, I kind of had to make some decisions because it was like, all right, you have an opportunity to leave, but you also have an opportunity to stay and maybe raise your draft stock, or you could lower your draft stock. Injury can happen. There's all these different things that kind of creep into your mind. I'm like, man, you can come back and be a first-round pick, or man, if you stay and things don't go back or don't go the way you want them to, they may go the opposite direction. So, at the end of the day, I talked to my family. I prayed about it, talked to God about it, and just talked to kind of my inner circle to kind of see, man, what's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, just trusting my gut. I was like, well, end of the day, I got an opportunity to play at the next level, at the NFL level, and that's something I wanted to do since I was a little kid. And so I was like, well, that opportunity seems to be in front of me, and so I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go take it. So I ended up getting healthy. Got a combine invite, which was huge.
Yeah.
Got an invite to the NFL combine. Got to talk to different all 32 NFL teams. Got to participate in the NFL combine, which was a great experience. And ended up getting drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up working out. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was just an opportunity and just a hunger and a drive to want to play at the next level.
Now, talking about the draft night, going in, you were drafted round 4. This was day 3. Going into day 3, what were your feelings like? Like, what were you thinking going through? Like, when am I going to get drafted? Like, what were you thinking there?
Yeah, man. I mean, coming out, I'm like, man, I did Instagram Live for 2 days. And the whole draft process, it's an interesting process. You're going through, the Chicago Bears. I think I maybe talked to them once.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I honestly thought I was about to be a Cliff Brown.
Okay.
Honest.
Yeah.
I had a great meeting with them.
Mm-hmm.
It went well. They had a lot of great things to say about me. I know a lot of the fans were. Really want me to come to Cleveland, hometown kid.
Yeah.
The vibes felt good, for Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's just an interesting process. Just going through that, whole deal of, man, you don't know. You're hearing different things. You don't know if teams are bluffing, saying like, oh, well, we think you're this, but really, you're that. Or I mean, it's just the whole game that they play up top. So no one really knows until you actually hear your name called and see guys go. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to get an opportunity. I was hoping that the team would take a chance on me, whether that be in the first round or the 7th round. At the end of the day, I was hoping to hear my name called.
Yeah.
And it came shortly, on that day, I think it was a Saturday, in the 4th round. Was able to hear my name called, received a phone call, which was, I remember my heart dropped, and I seen the phone ring and the area code. So it was a surreal moment for me. But yeah, so.
Yeah, and I remember on the Instagram Live, you guys had all 32 teams' hats. Now, I want to know, did the NFL send you those, or did you guys have to buy all those?
No, I think my agent hooked me up with, hooked me up with a company, and they sent me all 32 hats. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. Now, going into your NFL career, training camp and the preseason, what is one of your favorite moments? Just this funny thing happened, or I had this great play. Like, what's something you remember from training camp preseason that you really appreciated / enjoyed?
Man, it's been a long process, man.
Yeah.
Man, walking in, rookie mini camp, that's a 3-day process. And then from rookie mini camp, you got OTAs, which is basically 10 practices within like a 2 to 2.5 week span.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go off into training camp, which is basically a month long. But I think probably the number one thing that stood out Okay, yeah, was probably going to Florida to train with the guys.
Yeah.
So I think after OTAs, we had a nice little 5-week break, and obviously the quarterback of the team, Justin Fields, he hit us up in a group chat, was like, hey, I'm about to be in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, so I'll be down there. If you guys want to come train with me, just let me know. I'll get you, right with the hotel and all those different things, and your plane ticket. And so went down there and ended up staying in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel off the beach. A beautiful hotel, man.
Yeah.
I was living life by myself at the time, and it was fun. And I spent about 3 days with the guys and saw the other receivers. And I was fairly new. I was new in the receiver room, and so I was still getting to know the guys and still getting to know Justin and just kind of all the other guys and quarterbacks in the room. But it was a good getaway and just a good experience to be able to be part of the big leagues now.
Yeah.
You see different quarterbacks, you watch over the years, like, oh, yeah, they took, their guys to Florida or to Cali or to this spot to go train together. And now to finally be a part of something like that was a pretty cool experience. And a great bonding time that we had together where we just really became closer, as a unit, as an offensive unit, between quarterbacks and receivers and tight ends.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things I remember watching some of your things from before the season, preseason, regular season, this made SportsCenter, all of these types of headlines. I know you know what I'm talking about, where the wide receivers pranked you with that $20,000 bill. Just tell me about that event, because that was hilarious. Your face was awesome.
So, that's kind of like a NFL-wide thing, and really kind of a sports professional thing of like, all right, rookie dinners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, I was hoping coming in, like, all right, I'm a fourth-round guy. Hopefully they'll, be kind of careful with me, whatever. Maybe they'll forget. So, I get in there, we go through, we go through rookie minicamp, OTAs, and they haven't said anything about it. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm in the clear.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally get to training camp. The start of training camp comes, and we're about to take off. So we go through about 2 weeks into training camp, and nothing said. I'm like, okay, I'm good still. And so we're getting ready to take off to Indiana to have a joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the leader in our room is DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's not a huge talker. He's a goofy dude, but he's not going to say too much.
Yeah.
But he said something this time. And so, I think we were right before we were about to leave, and he was like, hey, he said, so what we doing with this rookie dinner? And at that point, I'm like, oh gosh, it's real. It's going to happen. And so, so the whole room's like, yeah, T. Scott, what we got going on with this rookie dinner? And so they're like, all right, so they're planning it, about like, all right, when we're going to do it, where we're going to do it. And I had no input at all.
Yeah.
And so, so then we ended up taking off to Indiana and get down there. And I think we went through the week, and it was like a Friday. And they hit me up, like, hey, rookie dinner tonight, whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever. So we ended up practicing later that night. They ended up texting me. I tried to fall asleep. I tried to fall asleep and act like I forgot. And so they ended up calling my phone and, blowing my phone up. Ended up answering, and I'm like, man, what? They're like, rookie dinner, let's go. The bus is outside. And I'm like, man. I'm like, listen, just somebody come get my car here. Just take my car and, go. And so at the time, they're kind of before earlier in the day, they're kind of getting on me about it, like, hey, we're about to run up the tag. Just to feel like, hey, I'm going to be there too, even though I'm not a receiver. I'm about to be there. He's like, I'm running up the tab. I got to get 3-4 meals to go for after the game, take home, all these different things.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, we get there, get on the bus. Everyone's all dressed up. I'm just in like a hoodie or whatever. I'm pissed. And so we get there. It was cool. They had a nice little setup for us. I'm gonna say we were at a restaurant called Tony's.
Okay.
Tony's restaurant, I believe, is what it was called. So we get there. They had a spot decked out for us. So we went to this room. We start chopping up, we're eating, we're drinking, everything's good. Got a few wines, and I'm kind of keeping track as things are coming out to the table. Like, all right, you got a few wines here, we got some appetizers there. So I'm doing the math in my head, like, all right, cool. And so the night goes on. Guys put in their orders. Nothing crazy, nothing off the wall. I got a nice little salmon and mashed potatoes. So I'm like, all right, it seems to be good. Nothing seems to be out of order. And so we get to the very end to where the bill comes out. And so they went to go bring over the bill. They're like, wait. They're like, hold on, let's look at it first before we give it to Scott. And so they start passing the bill around. That's when I see the phones start coming out. And I'm like, okay. And so then I start seeing all these people's reactions like, oh, that's not bad. And then I start seeing people's reactions of like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And so then the bills get passed around. And I remember at the time Chase Claypool got it.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Chase Claypool had a real good relationship. And Chase Claypool got it. He was like, oh, that's not bad at all. And when I heard him say that, I was like, oh, so this is bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
So they ended up, one more person got it. They ended up giving it to me. I look at the check and it said $20,000. And my heart dropped at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, ain't no way. I felt betrayed. I felt so betrayed by everybody. I felt betrayed by DJ because I told him earlier that day, like, hey, let's keep it like the 4 to 5K. Like,
yeah.
Let's relax. And that made me much, And so I felt so betrayed by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I had burned all the bridges at that moment with everyone I had in that room. And, they're all, hyping it up, laughing. Obviously got it on record.
Yeah.
And so then it got to a point where like, hey, let's dine and dash. I'm like, dine and dash? They're like, yeah, we just finna leave. I'm like, we can't do that. And so I'm sitting here like, bro, somebody's about to owe me some money. Like, and so I started taking out my card, and they're like, T. Scott, we good, let's go. Like, we're good to leave. I'm like, well, somebody's got to pay for it. They're like, T. Scott, let's go, we good. I'm like, well, nobody paid for the meal, and obviously Ricky didn't, so I guess I got to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the waiter, he's dying over on the side. He ends up coming over, and he's like, listen, you're good to go. You're good to go. I was like, okay, all right. And so I end up walking out. I get into the truck, and they're like, did you pay for the meal? I'm like, no, I didn't pay for the meal. These guys told me I could leave. And they're like, dude, you got to go pay for the meal. You can't just leave. Like, we're just kidding around. You got to go pay for it. And so I'm about to get back up and pay for it. And they're like, nah, you can just pay with you. And so come to find out, it was all DJ's plan.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Moore's plan. He knew the owner. And they had a good relationship. And it wasn't actually $20,000. It wasn't actually $20,000. I think it might have been 4 to 5. But
okay.
But it was a nice little prank they pulled on me. It was from DJ. But shout out to him, though. I didn't have to pay a dime
That's
at
awesome.
all. And I haven't had to repay another rookie dinner at all. So pretty good experience.
Yeah. There's still a couple weeks left in the season, though, so you got to watch out.
Yes, there is.
Now, what does your daily routine look like as an NFL player? Not on Sundays, but like during the week, like how you prepare for like practice, and how's that look like?
Yeah, so usually coming off a game, we're obviously play on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously a little different compared to high school. College,
Yeah.
we play on Friday and then Saturday and then ultimately Sunday. So my week has kind of, in my perspective, sped up to what I've been used to.
Mm-hmm.
My weeks kind of go by a little bit faster. So walking off the game on Sunday, I'm thinking about different things, obviously, how the game went, how I'm feeling, just kind of just raw emotions. Won't look at the film till the next day, but just kind of sleeping on things, just feeling things out. So Monday will come. Monday, walk into the building, pretty early, get a workout in early, and then from there, I'm going into meetings, special teams meetings, offensive unit meetings, team meeting, positional meetings, things of that nature. Going over, what did the game look like? Did we reach our goals? What things stood out? Where can we improve? Ups, downs, highs, lows, everything. So it's basically just a recap of kind of the previous game. And so from there, we have what we call rookie programming. Here, at least Chicago has it, where all the rookies, we have like an hour session on Mondays where we just kind of do life skills. Kind of some football related, but mostly more off the field related.
Yeah.
Money, finances, taxes, social media, just dealing with different things as a professional athlete.
Yeah.
So you have those things, and then you got recovery as well, either before your day starts or kind of towards the end of the day, you're getting into recovery. But Mondays is a pretty fast day, pretty smooth day, no practice on the field. You're just kind of, like I said, just looking over the film and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So you got pretty much the rest of the Monday to yourself to do what you need to do. Tuesdays is the off day, our off day, and every team has a off day in the NFL, and our day's Tuesday. For most teams, it's usually Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that day, usually you can go and you do your interviews or, your extra recovery. You're doing your community work where you go out in the community, do some things.
Yeah.
You're just kind of doing maybe some off the field things that you want to take care of, whether it be around the house or, whatever. But you're also getting kind of a feel for, all right, looking at the game plan for the next team. Looking at, all right, what's their coverage, what's their personnel, just kind of getting a feel for, the team we're going against. You got a little bit of a feel the day before on a Monday after the review of the game. Kind of just gave like a slight review of like, all right, this is the team we're facing. And now Tuesday is kind of more of a deep dive into, who you're going against. Mm-hmm. So that's the official off day, recover, rest, and recuperate. And then come Wednesday is kind of the real work day.
Yeah.
You're going in early in the morning for another workout. And from there, you're in meetings, special teams, team meeting, unit meeting, looking at, what are the bullet points, the things that, we're looking at going into the week, those type of things, looking at the team, what's the game plan, how are we going to attack this next team. And then we're on the field for practice around 11:30, 12. On the field for practice, we're out there. Usually, in the beginning of the season, we're probably in pads. And as the season, goes on, it's a very long season playing 17 games.
Yeah.
Especially this time now, you're going to just probably be in helmets or shells, or spiders, as they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of more so running around, not real contact, just for it being just a physical game and just a long season. So go through a practice for about an hour, 30-ish, to 2 hours. Got walkthroughs mixed in there as well. And then the following day, you have Thursday, which is another work day, another practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's more speed, a lot more reps, a lot of running. Same kind of deal as the day before, just no workout, just more meetings, and then you're on the practice field. And then come Friday, we call it Fast Friday because we're in and we're out.
Yeah.
Going pretty early. We got some meetings, things of that nature, looking at, Wednesdays and Thursdays practices, going over that. And then we're on the field, for it's like a red zone day. Going over our red zone plan, we're in, we're out, and you pretty much have the whole day to yourself to rest and recover. Then comes Saturday, depending on if we're home or away, we have meetings in the morning, and then we call a mock game. So we're just kind of walking through, kind of like the game plan, maybe some of the first plays we want to run, some of those things.
Yeah.
Some of the plays we like, and from there, if we're home, you're done by about 12. You pretty much got the whole day to yourself. And you got to basically show up at the hotel, the team hotel, at around 9-ish or so. You pretty much got the day. But you drive down. I'm about an hour 30 away from Soldier Field,
okay,
which is by, where our hotel is by. So
yeah,
I got an hour 30 drive pretty much every home game Saturday before. So driving there. And then you got some meetings, maybe a walkthrough in the hotel of kind of maybe some of the plays you like to run, the next day. And, you're just, like I said, maybe some families in town, you're spending time with them in the hotel or, maybe go out to, go out and eat with the guys or, whatever.
Yeah.
Move pretty freely.
Yeah.
On those Saturday nights. And then come Sunday, you got Sunday football. And so it's time to go get paid and make some money and win some football games.
Yeah. So the Bears started off the season 2-7, but the last 4 games you guys have won 3 of the last 4. What has been the big difference in the last 4 games that has made a difference?
Man, I think we're just playing with so much more anticipation, so much more confidence. Just an expectancy to win. We just beat the Lions on Sunday, and we ended up losing to them a few weeks ago. But we felt coming off that field that we were the better team. And from that point forward, we just had this expectancy of we feel like we are a good team. And even in Detroit, who's one of the top teams in the league right now, we felt like we are a good team. Then we play Monday night. We beat the Minnesota Vikings, which they had Josh Dobbs, who had been playing great over since he had got to Minnesota. So we ended up winning on prime time there on a Monday night game, and then coming back and now beating Detroit. That was the first time we've got 2 wins in a row this season.
Wow.
And so that's what we were gunning for. So I think we've just been playing with that expectancy, the confidence has definitely been there. I think the defense has been balling. They're number 1 in the league in rush defense. The pass coverage has been phenomenal. Our defensive line, who kind of struggled a little bit in the beginning of the year, we acquired Montez Sweat, and he just kind of, I think, just elevated that whole defensive unit. And so I think we're clicking on all cylinders right now at the right moment. It looks like we have a shot if we can win out at the playoffs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, going back to week 1, facing the Packers, you had your first 2 career NFL receptions. What was that like, saying, like, I got my first reception? How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big week building up because it was rivalry week. You know, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears is one of the best rivalries in football.
Yeah.
And so just kind of understanding the history of that, you know, it was just so much more, trying to see the word, just so much more in on this game, you know, from everybody, from the Bears fans, and it just means more in the Bears organization. You're going up against the Green Bay Packers, and that to be my first, you know, NFL game was like, okay, so I'm getting a nice little taste of, like, you know, what the NFL is really like, you know, in a hostile. Well, we're playing at home, but just in an environment that, you know, rivalry environment. You know, you have rivalry games in college and high school.
Yeah.
You know, now to see what's a rivalry week like in the NFL. You know, so it was just a cool experience. You know, just the whole week leading up to it, even the whole offseason, just leading up to that, knowing that we're going against the Green Bay Packers, and then being able to go out active, being able to, I think I had the kickoff return.
Okay.
And I also caught Justin Fields' first pass of the year as well.
Yeah.
And I think I also his last pass in that game. So, you know, it was a cool experience. You know, we didn't end up winning, but, you know, just the experience was just so real. Cause, you know, I just had so many moments. Just it was like, man, I'm really doing this. You know, it's something that I worked hard, you know, from when I was little, growing up, and going through, like I said, going through Norton, you know, from youth football all the way to middle school, through high school, and then on to Cincinnati, and then to finally be able to hit the big stage. It was like, man, you're finally doing this. So it was just a surreal moment for sure.
Yeah. Final question for you. What advice would you give to a Norton football player wanting to play college football?
Man. So I talked to actually a couple guys on the team, you know, so far this year, and I mean, they've been killing it. Shout out to Norton, man. They've been killing it for the past couple of years.
Yeah, it was a great season.
You know, since I've been there, man, it's so cool to watch that. So cool to see the success they've had. And the craziest thing is, you know, I went back right before I got drafted. I went back to the school. I think it was during track season, indoor season, I want to say.
Yeah.
Worked out with the team actually for a little bit. I was out there with Lucas Dobbins.
Yeah.
And some of those guys, just, you know, out there running with them, working out. And I seen some of the guys, and I'm like, man, we were on the same football team. Like, we were in high school together. You know, some of these guys that were freshmen, you know, when I was a senior, I'm like, God, I went through high school, I went through college, and now I'm about to go to the NFL, and I played, you know, on the same football team as you. I ran on the same track team, played on the same basketball team as you. Yeah. And it was just such a humbling moment just to see that, you know, just to kind of realize, man, how not far off I am from just being in those seats, and just being, you know, a North Panther. And so at the end of the day, man, I mean, you could do it. You know, I was somebody who pretty much had to, you know, kind of create my own path. You know, I had a lot of people when I was growing up telling me, man, you need to go here, you need to go to Hogan, and you need to go to St. V, you need to go to Walsh, or you need to go to all these different schools, you know, to accomplish what you wanted to accomplish or get to the next level. And even had a coaching change halfway, dead split of my high school career. So I had that, you know, in my mind. Like, man, my sophomore year, you know, didn't really do too much freshman, sophomore year. It's like, man, you know, your most important year is like your junior year. So it's like, man, like, you know, what should I do? You know, should I stay? Should I leave? But at the end of the day, I trusted Norton. I stayed home. Yeah. And ended up playing, having a great season. Like I said, won the championship. Played with a great group of guys. And at the end of the year, was, you know, heard from a couple different schools. And Ohio State, you know, they came into the school. Brian Harline was there. Tony Alford, the running backs coach, he was there. You know, so just to have, you know, all these different schools, you know, we're all through the halls. Indiana, Indiana was there. Iowa State, Cincinnati, Michigan State. You know, I mean, we had all different types of schools that came in to Norton High School. And I was just a testament of somebody who you didn't have to leave to go all these different places to accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. You know, if you're good, you know, they end up finding you for sure. But, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, just have fun. That's the number one thing. Have fun with it. Don't worry about, man, how am I going to get offers? I need to get offers, this and that and the third. You know, because I kind of had that mindset my freshman, sophomore year. You know, I was just like, man, I'm just playing so I can get offers to play in the, you know, play in college. Yeah. But my mind shifted, you know, my junior year. I was like, listen, I just need to step back, enjoy the game of football, and really appreciate it, too, because I was hurt my freshman and sophomore year, and my seasons were cut short. And so it gave me a greater appreciation for the game of football and understanding, like, man, not everybody can play this game. And so I took a step back, enjoy the company that was around me, the group of guys who I still talk to this day. Just enjoying the company that was there, and just enjoy the game. I was able to be successful, win the conference championship, and then was able to get some success for myself, and getting some offers. So I credit all the credit goes to all the guys around me who I still thank to this day for just sacrificing themselves to help get to where to help me get to where I got to this day.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for your time. Good luck this Sunday taking on the Browns, coming back to Ohio. Hopefully you have a good game. It'll be fun to watch for sure.
I appreciate you, man.